Hi, TIAGO from TVS Aquatics once again. Today we're just a little bit of information on sump filters and how they work and so forth. Okay, here we've got, this isn't actually designed for a marine sump. There's freshwater sumps and so forth, so we can design different systems due to your requirement, but we'll actually just show you a marine sump and basically how this one works. We've got a lot of different designs, so they can actually be done. This is not, you have to do it this way and so forth. There's a lot of different ways you can design a sump. This is just a basic design for a marine tank. So basically how a sump works, this actual tank sits under your fish tank. So let's say we've got a 6-foot tank above and this sits in your cabinet. So this is your actual filter system. So basically you've got water going into your tank. There is an overflow on your tank coming into the first section. So you've got pipes coming into the first section of the sump. So your water flow is coming into the actual sump, filling up this section. On this particular sump, you guys what an overflow is and how it works in regards to sump. So basically you have your water in here. Water's getting fed into the system, so it raises the level. There's a hole at that height there, so that's the height. Water basically travels down that hole and into the sump. So down the sump. And that's, so in regards to your tank, you have a hole in the rear of it, basically going to the height that you want. Water flows down, and then you have the return pump pumping back into the system. Particular sump, we've got the skimmer is the first thing the water actually is going to go through. So the water starts to fill the sump, goes into your skimmer, gets basically all the protein removed, back into the sump. Okay, so the next section, so it gets skimmed. Next section, we have some basically foam pads. So the water passes, goes into the sump, passes through the pads. So basically the waste getting collected, coming out through this section here, into your deep sand bed. In marine we use deep sand beds a lot, so you've got 6 inches of sand, your deep sand bed. I'll go into sand beds a little bit later on, but basically the sand bed, once it's established, it actually feeds on nitrates. So you've got the sand bed here, generally we have live rock and macroalgae and so forth to feed on nitrates. So the water passes through, goes through your sand bed, all your organic matter, okay, comes into this section here, and basically in this section you can put whatever type of media you want. So you can put sponges, you can put coral rubble, any other media. So your water goes through, passes through the media here, another bubble trap here, comes through, and then it comes to the section where your pump is at. Your pump then basically pumps water. There's a hose attached to this pump into your tank, and the process happens again. It goes into your tank, through your tank, and back down into the sump. You can also put your heaters inside the sump too, so you haven't got heaters in your actual fish tank as well. So it just organises everything. It's a lot neater system and a lot more effective. Another thing too is with your sumps as well, a canister, if your pump blows up, then you pretty much throw your canister out. If your pump blows up in the sump, basically all you have to do, like let's say 5-10 years down the track, your pump broken or doesn't pump anymore, the magnets are gone. Basically all you do is take out the pump and replace it with a new one. It can be any brand, it can be any type, whatever you like, you can actually put in there, depending on how many litres and so forth that you want, which is that easy. And your filter's still there, so the majority of your filter's still there. You can go out and just buy a pump and replace it. Also too, it allows you later on, let's say you're changing your tank over and going different fish and so forth, and you require more flow. Basically all you do, let's say this is a 2,000 litre pump an hour, you just get rid of this pump, you put a grey tail one, so you can put a 3,000 or 4,000 litre, as long as your holes keep up with the flow, you can put a larger or more greater volume pump. So yeah, that's another. Why sumps are so good is generally they just make your system hold more water. That's one of the things. So it makes your system, we all know, the larger the system, the more stable things are. Second of all too, the amount of media and so forth that you can put in a sump is much greater than any canister in the market. So you can actually put a lot more media and so forth. You can't do live sand beds and so forth in canisters. Generally, we don't recommend canisters at all in marine systems. They basically just create too many nitrates. We have issues, so we go this sort of system, which is a more organic, natural system of filtering. It also, once your sand bed starts to actually work, it'll actually start to feed on nitrates. So it's working as a living organism, basically. This is a much more efficient way of filtering a fish tank and so forth. We also got fresh sumps as well, which we designed. I'll go through it another time. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks, guys.